GSL Educational Society presents our new initiative, Medula, through which we bring you some inspiring stories and golden words said by some amazing people who excel in their profession. I'm glad to welcome you to our today's episode of Medula.
Hey everyone, today with us we have an amazing person who is a physician, politician, a social activist, the founder and the president of Lok Satta Party, Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan sir. We welcome you to our program Medula sir.
Thank you, Meghna.
So my first question is that what made you get into politics?
I did not choose to get into politics, Meghna.
Okay.
My life's journey in this respect began probably some 49 years ago,
Okay.
when I was about 17 years old. It was about 25 years after freedom, or 25, 26 years. And we began to worry about what's happening to the country. The first flush of freedom is over.
Yes.
Many of those hopes were dashed. And there was rampant unemployment,
Yes.
corruption,
Yeah.
misgovernance. Problems we see today also. Power.
Yes.
And then, instead of responding to the people's surges in a very creative and constructive manner, the government tried to bulldoze people. Emergency was imposed. I was one of those young people in India. Thousands of young people rebelled against it. I was one of those who rebelled against it.
Yes.
I spoke out very strongly against it. Then emergency was lifted. Janata came to power because people were angry.
Yes.
We all hoped that there was a democratic revolution in the country, but nothing happened. Though freedom was restored, the country was going on as usual.
Yes.
So from that despair came my decision to join the IAS, first for medicine.
Okay.
And luckily in the IAS, I could do something and people gave me affection and respect. I could learn a great deal
Yes.
and I understood what needed to be done.
Yes. Sir.
Once I understood, I had to work for that. So then I left government. Then most of my work, for some time there was also a political party activity, but most of my work is not party political work. It's about
Yes.
reforming the country,
Yes, sir.
the true sense of politics. So that's continuing even today.
Yes, sir. So coming to my next question, you have been a part of several reforms throughout your political career. What's one thing that inspired you to keep going despite facing many hardships?
It's a good question, Meghna. I grew up in a village. In the 1960s, I went to school. In those days, you can imagine no electricity in the village, though my village did have electricity by that time.
Okay.
School buildings came around that period. Teachers were paid very small salaries. There were no toilets in the households. It was unthinkable. Despite all those hardships, our generation of students were very lucky. We got good education because the local governments really cared.
Yeah.
Local leadership really felt for the community because it's our children. And the teachers were inspired.
Yes, sir.
And tens of thousands of young people in villages, they all could fulfill their potential. Now, 50 years later, or 60, 55 years later, things should have been much better.
Yes.
Today, if I think of the school I went to, or many such schools in the country or in our state, 80 to 90% who go to those schools have no future. I would actually say 95%.
Okay.
That makes me angry because I see myself in their shoes.
Yes.
I could have been that.
Yes.
That's not the way country should be done.
Yes, sir.
My belief is that the greatest sin in a society is unfulfilled potential.
Yes.
The second greatest sin is avoidable suffering.
Yes, sir.
Both are in abundant quantity in this country.
Yeah.
And we have the resources, we have the technology, we have the opportunity today. We are not in 19th century. And yet we are behaving as if we are helpless. That makes me both angry and motivated.
Yes, sir.
Everything else is secondary.
Yeah. So reservations are important, but once a family gets the benefit out of reservation and when their financial status has significantly improved, do you think that the government should make amendments in the constitution so that the reservation should be
the
stopped?
constitution. It's only the way we implement it. Governments are reckless.
Yeah.
They don't think through issues carefully. In a country where for centuries there was caste discrimination which was real,
Yes.
people were denied the opportunity because of the caste. Certainly caste-based affirmative action is necessary.
Yes.
But to whom? If my father is a district collector or an MP or a very wealthy businessman or a reputed doctor, why should I get the benefit? Because from whom am I taking the opportunity? If a very comfortable family with all the opportunities got it on the basis of reservation, it is the other community, other members of the community who are poorer, who actually did not have the opportunities, who suffered discrimination. They are the ones who are losing.
Yes.
Therefore, once you reach a certain status on account of reservation, education, profession, income, position,
Yes.
then you take care of your children. Let that opportunity go to others in the same community.
Yeah. Those who deserve it
I'm
more.
absolutely certain about it.
Yes. Sir.
And along with that, the second most important thing is, perhaps even more important, reservation is a function of higher education and employment. School education, officially everybody is supposed to get it.
Yes.
But the reality is, as I mentioned before, our school education is a disaster in this country.
Yes. Sir. Do you think the government is doing enough to make changes
No,
so that?
as of now we have very sound policy at the national level, but having a lovely policy doesn't mean that it's happening. It will take another 5-10 years of intense work. Union government, state governments, teachers, parents, community, society, etc. But unless we improve the school education, only with quality school education available to every single child, irrespective of birth, can they have the opportunity. Then once the opportunity is there, reservations, yes or no, we'll figure out.
Yes, sir.
In China, every child, rural, urban, rich, poor, gets very high quality school education up to 8th grade, guaranteed.
Okay.
After 8th grade, you have to pay some small fee. But once you have that opportunity, for instance, how could my generation of people from villages come up and then make something of their lives? Because we got good school education.
Yes, sir.
If that was not there, you only have a 3rd grade certificate which means nothing, how can you compete?
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
we are forgetting that reservation is after school education. If you destroyed school education already, reservation is bogus. It doesn't make any difference at all.
Yes.
It's only a political slogan.
Yes.
So improve school education, then automatically even the poor kids, because ability is not limited to rich people.
Yes.
God or nature has distributed talent across the board evenly. So once the talent can actually surface because of good quality school education, over time you don't require reservation. You can easily match others.
Yes.
As long as you don't allow school education to do well, no matter how many decades you have reservation, nothing will change.
Yes. Absolutely. I agree with that completely, sir. So, sir, my next question is that you have a medical degree. In the future, do you have any plans to practice in the medical field?
Not practice medicine because I don't have the time, because good or bad I've decided on devoting my life and time for certain critical goals in the country.
Yes.
And there are not many people doing that. In fact, almost very few doing that. And B, medicine is such a rapidly advancing science. While I have some general understanding of what's happening, I don't think that I am up to date on a day-to-day basis. The kind of technology, advances in biochemistry, genetics, molecular biology, the whole, of course, pharmaceutical, all sorts of things. I don't think I can do, but I am devoting a lot of energy and time in building healthcare systems.
Yeah.
I am the author of the National Health Mission in the country.
Okay.
NHM, NRHM initially, and NHM. It became a reality on the basis of my proposal and my advocacy. Now I am fighting for a comprehensive universal healthcare system at zero cost to the patient, no out-of-pocket expenditure, but at an affordable cost to the government.
Okay.
An integrated system with competition, with choice, involvement of public sector and private sector.
Yes.
So I am working a lot in the area of healthcare, but not in medical treatment as an individual. Of course, in family and unsuspecting people, I may treat them or I may treat myself, but that's about it.
Okay, sir. So you have provided your services as a collector. So what was your experience like?
You know, any job, for instance, you're a doctor, if somebody has pain, you relieve the person of that pain, that gives you a high satisfaction. Immediately you see the results.
Yes.
If somebody is in a critical condition, if you're lucky to be there, and then if it's a kind of a problem which can be addressed immediately, for instance, somebody is in hypoglycemic coma, all you require is diagnose that quickly and then give hypertonic
Appropriate
glucose.
treatment. Yes.
Immediately, like a miracle wakes up, or it may be something more serious. That gives you tremendous high.
Yeah.
A district collector while it's not so intimate, but you can actually make a difference directly. Take this district, then East Godavari, the larger district of Kakinada, Rajahmundry and all these areas, Amalapuram, all put together.
Yeah.
When there was a massive cyclone and lakhs of acres of land was lost, for the first time in the history of Delta, I was privileged to be able to work with the farmers and to retransplant the paddy in the Kharif season with great results.
Okay.
All farmers raised the crop again and then they got the fruits.
Okay.
Then I encouraged the farmers to participate in this removal of encroachments in all the drains. And then I designed a program for improvement of the irrigation and drainage structure in Krishna Delta, Guntur Delta, Krishna and Godavari Delta. That means East West Godavari districts, Krishna Guntur districts.
Okay.
Dr. Channareddy as Chief Minister took it up later and that became the program. The whole state benefited. So I initiated that.
Yes.
In Prakasam district I could do 2 lakh acres of irrigation. 1 lakh families were lifted out of poverty permanently.
Wow.
At a very low cost with people's participation. So what it means is that there's immense opportunity in this country. Resources are there, people are there. If we give the people a chance, inspire them, give them confidence and show them a direction, we can achieve miracles. So that's what really these opportunities as district magistrate in some districts, they taught me. That's why I'm such an optimist. I have great faith in our people. If we build the right institution and create the right kind of incentives, this country will be transformed, but not by leaders, not by officers, but by the people.
Yes, sir. So you have surely taken a great initiative by doing so. And coming to my last question, nowadays most of the youth are not afraid to voice their opinions. Do you think becoming bold is good?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want people to be bold,
Yeah.
people to be very, very straightforward, but people to be also informed. See, just because I have social media and access to all these computer buttons, garbage is garbage.
Yes.
So we have an obligation, we have to be bold, we have to express views, we have to have healthy debate.
Yes.
But 2 things we all must remember. First, if I have something to say, that something must be of value to other people. It must be well thought out. It must be for the general good of the community, not some garbage and not some prejudice and not some hatred and venom, or not full of ignorance. So we have an obligation to ourselves and to the society.
Yes.
The second is, in any democratic society, there are 2 intelligent human beings, there are going to be differences of opinion. Unless one is a slave of the other,
Yeah.
2 human beings cannot have identical views on everything.
Yes.
So it's good, it's healthy, but when will that work really to our advantage as a society? Even if we disagree, if I see the merit of some of what you are saying, I accept it. If you accept the merit of some of what I am saying, then figure out where we have the differences. Then a middle path is possible.
Yes.
If we exaggerate the small differences, what they call narcissism of small differences,
Yes.
and if you say, because you disagree with me, I can't work with you, and I disagree with you, therefore I can't work with you, this is absurd.
Yes. Yes.
Then society becomes fragmented. The idea of communication, language, and the gift of logic is based on evidence and logic. You come to some rational conclusions.
Yes.
Your experience in life, your worldview may have given you a slightly different approach, but there is a way of meeting in the middle ground.
Yeah. There's a way
So
to find
any
a balance.
communication must be A, bold and honest, but based on information, knowledge,
Yeah.
and logic, and B, an ability to reconcile conflicting interests. Don't make everything a deal breaker.
Yes.
Then communication is vital. Otherwise, a foolish communication full of prejudice and hatred, and one shouting at other, like our TV channel debates,
Yes.
sometimes our political debates,
Yeah.
that's not communication. That is absolutely wasteful.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much for giving us your valuable time, sir. We really appreciate it.
Wish you all the very best. Good luck.
Thank you so much.